keeping it about 40 or so. It's regularly 70, but keeping it about 40. Keeping it about 40 or so. It's regularly 70, but keeping it about 40. If I had a tank, I think some tanks can go about 40. Now we're going in, I don't know what that CMB, I don't know what that is. This, I don't know where we're at right now. CMB station. Right over that way. This thing's a big, long storm. Big old long storm. Going on an incline. All right. So that traffic that was going towards us, like you can see it here. Let's see something right here. They're traveling relatively maybe 40 to 50. So the other traffic that was behind us, they had their lights on. So if you look at the other traffic that's coming through, you know that that's probably the tail end of the storm, because they wouldn't have been driving around. That guy's going about 55. So this is probably the very edge part. We went through the sheet of rain, which is like the very heart of where the storm was, with all the lightning and everything like that. So it only goes for so long. I was predicting 11:27 at the speed we were going, so I was off. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 34, maybe by I don't know, 6-7 minutes or so. I was predicting 11:30. Well, no, 11:27 is what I said. So 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. About 7 to 8 minutes off on that guess. So it is way larger than what I thought. A lot of times a sheet of rain, things change after about 3 minutes or 4 minutes or so. But you can drive through it for a while. It's a different level of wind and rain than it was way back there at 11:27. So definitely within 10 minutes, there would be a change for sure. Sometimes 3 or 4 minutes, depending on the sheet. And that was a sheet of rain that we went through. That's just where it's major 100% point of precipitation is falling down on you, huge drops. You know when that happens, you have to slow down. It messes up the vision of where you can't really see. The visibility goes down. Still pretty strong right here. The wind, you can see the wind, even the rain moving around that way. Still pretty heavy. The one thing about a tornado, though, it's not going to be in the rain. You will not see a tornado in the rain. You'll see a hurricane in the rain, but you won't see a tornado in the rain, very, very rarely, because they're going to be on the back side of the storm. That's where the funky weather gets with the warm and the cold. It's going to be stable weather within the storm. The warm air and the cold air are going to be on the back side of the anvil of the storm. What in the world is this? All right. So, like I said, it only stretches for so long, and in some points, surprisingly enough, it just you're right out of the rain. It happens. Like you can't. It's hard to predict, but this one, the duration is more than 10 minutes. Because I was talking about 11:27 was the height of that sheet. Covering a lot of area, and this is a lot of rain that we need. Duration now is about 11 minutes with a sheet of rain to lock. Going about 40 miles per hour. You can do the math if you're a math genius. So what you do is you take the equation. You know that I would go 40 miles per hour in 11 minutes. Take 11 minutes how many miles you go at 40 miles per hour, and you can figure out the length of that sheet of rain. A couple of ways you can do it. All you need is the number 40 miles per hour and 11 minutes. And then you'll know the exact distance. Another thing you can do is you can press a little trip thing whenever you go into this. Yeah, we're headed out of it right now, so. The little trip thing where it sets to 0. Total of 11:39. It was more than 10 minutes of a sheet of rain, but now it's starting to calm down a little bit. And that wind was strong too. It was moving the car. And moving the cars ahead of me too. Pretty scary for a second. They're tucked in right there. Not a bad move. Not a bad move, only I got to pick up Linda. Got a Facebook message. Oh, there she is. Just hit a little water ponding, and you see that someone has their flashing hazards. Very smart. And we did a little surfing, didn't get it on footage. Not what I need to do with how my undercarriage is, because I got that little plastic undercarriage thing. But Linda's on the other side of Lake Worth, and we're gonna have to keep going. Not really something that I usually will do. Sometimes I'll take a time out, but we're beating some of it here, and we don't know exactly which direction this puppy is traveling, this crazy storm. But we're gonna have to get through it, because I gotta pick her up, and it's 11:42 right here. So we braved it. It's just what we do. Ephesians 5:22. It's what we do. All right, continuing on. Looks like we got out of the mess of it. Still lightning everywhere. Thunderstorm, play-by-play, like Cole Spivey on the Cole Spivey channel for YouTube. Please subscribe. Also, I got my PayPal. Feel free to do a PayPal. I'll try to do a little thing here. If I forget, it means I went into editing and fell asleep. Hit the button, let it export. I can't keep up with all of this, but I don't have a team. I operate solo. Linda helps a little bit. But I do all the editing. And listen, I'd love to watch it all. I'd love to be the best filmmaker and watch it all. Can't do it always, but I can kind of look at it and kind of do it. It's bigger than what I can handle, but it's a monster. The vlog, the monster vlog. All right. Looks like everybody's being funneled into like one lane or something. I don't know. It doesn't give me any information. But the weather I could maybe get through, but traffic, don't know. Don't know at all. But it could just be a little work crew. I don't know. Big lightning right there. Big strike. Big lightning strike. Fire truck. Fire engine. Looks like a tree limb blew, and I don't know. There's probably something worse than that. Yeah. Couple of fire engines. Like 3 of them. Something went down. And they're just making sure. Person, yeah, they were going a little too quick. Not too bad, just a little fender bender against the rail, spun around 180. He was on his phone, so hopefully nothing major. but they got through it. So, and those trucks, you know, you can't go too quick. But that was probably when the sheet of rain was right here. We're right on the outside of Crowley, so we should be okay. All right, guys. Smartless is interviewing Smartless is interviewing Willem Dafoe. It's Willem Dafoe. He is really one of my favorite actors. He should have made my top all 3 favorites on my Internet Movie Database, but Platoon, he's done stuff called like Dog Eat Dog with Paul Schrader. One of my top 11 films of all time. I got a masterpiece 11. He made it on the top 11 with Florida Project, Sean Baker film. It's one of my top 11 films. Platoon is also top 3 war films. That he's also in that. Really, really great performance. Probably one of his best. He plays Elias, opposite of Barnes, and Taylor takes notes from him. You know, it's Platoon. You gotta check out Platoon. Big fan of Platoon. My last Platoon vlog got blocked. They considered it hate speech, but it's a long story. I was comparing Platoon with the modern day police, but that's another story. Another one that's really good with Willem Dafoe is Shadow of the Vampire. I saw that in Los Angeles. That was an amazing performance. He's also got a new one about an apartment. Something weird goes on in an apartment. Florida Project's great. He's you know, he was also in the Saint Boondocks. He's in the Boondocks. He helps out independent filmmakers. I couldn't run across him. Sean Baker was, I went to school with Sean Baker. He was one of my peers at the New School University. I was studying acting. Sean Baker was studying filmmaking. A guy named Bradley Cooper was there studying acting too. But he had already graduated. But anyway, Sean Baker, I think, was still there doing an intensive study of editing, where he did non-linear editing, storytelling, and later came up with the Florida Project. Anyway, he's being interviewed by Smartless, and I'm about to listen to it. Great actor. Definitely one of my top 10 actors, for sure. Right there with Robert De Niro, Marlon Brando, Laurence Olivier, all that stuff. He's an amazing, amazing actor. Also, considering Willem Dafoe, I think there's something, forgive the pronunciation of the name, Bobby Pardue or something, from Wild at Heart. Another great performance. Shadow of the Vampire, I think, was brilliant. He should have been nominated for that one. Why he doesn't have more Oscars, I don't know. I'd have to go through his whole thing. I don't know how many nominations he has. I'll have to look on his Wikipedia. But, you know, the Academy's not always right. Oh, my gosh. I can't really see anything right now. This dang rain. Anyway, we're going to be approaching a pretty cool shot of Fort Worth. In the light rain, we got through the sheet of rain. That was kind of scaring me. I didn't know what I was going to do. My car was moving around. The water was splashing everywhere. My undercarriage on the car cannot handle any of that. I went through it because I got to pick up Linda in Lake Worth. And, like, you know, if I would have slowed down and stopped, then, you know, she'd have to wait longer, you know. So, I don't always give her position, you know, because she is a lady, and I got to take my hat off for Linda. Improv wise, she's one of the best actresses. You know, she has no training in acting, zero training. She did play clarinet, and she was a sprinter in high school, and that's all I need. Okay, she played clarinet, she could sprint, great, that works. Little training. I told her a little bit about Stella Adler, a little bit about Strasberg. I don't know everything about the Actors Studio. I mean, I studied there, but and I studied with some people that studied with Stella Adler. But, you know, I'm a big believer in instincts, and a big believer in people understanding stories and understanding rhythm within their heart. I think it's something we already know. I'm a big believer in that in acting. I think you can get the technique down, and it can mess you up if you manipulate it too much. There are things that you're going to do that's going to reveal who you are, and that's who she's really good at doing. We've done a little bit of scripted work, and we've done a lot of song. So we've done a lot of, like, singing and stuff, but I don't know. I'm a big fan. I've got a lot of good feedback hearing that Linda's great on the show. Getting a lot of fans, and I don't know if I ever will get to the point where I'll be able to interview someone, you know, someone as great like Willem Dafoe or De Niro and things like that. But
It just depends on the direction that things go. You never really know. I'm just, oh no, more? There's more of it? Oh, come on. Let's see if we can see through this right here. St. Paul Lutheran Church says, Lord. I just saw the word Lord. That was all. Some passage with the word Lord in it. Oh, man, it's having me turn right here. Darn it. All right, maybe I can hit University over this way. I was supposed to turn that way right there. We just jumped up to 1217. All right, jump back down to 1216. You know, I thought we got through this, you know, back there, but I guess there's another section of the storm.
My goodness, stormy night. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this guy's pretty much just... Oh, man.
And we're about to cross a lake, too, known as Lake Worth. Oh, man, I don't know. There's a time you want something to fly over these clouds or something, but you got to drive through it. My dad was Army, so we're kind of grounded to the earth. My grandfather was Navy, so he's probably used to the waters.
So yeah, listening to Smartless with Willem Dafoe. I didn't know he got to work with Peter Brook, and he went to Europe, did all this Europe stuff. I went to Sakani Festival in Czech Republic and got to work in European theater a little bit with Shakespeare. But to meet Peter Brook, man, that is one of the gods of the theater. He wrote Empty Space. He also wrote The Shifting Point and a few other books, and is a scholar and a great director. He also directed Midsummer Night's Dream with Mickey Rooney. Didn't know he worked with Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe is a big theater actor, so he got involved in the 70s in the theater and brought him to New York. He said Theater X. I thought there was a One-Senskers group. I cannot pronounce it. I have a book on it. I think he's mentioned in that book. It's a European-style group that was out in theater, but he called it Theater X, so it might have been connected to another group. I'll have to look. I can't pronounce the name of it, though, right now. That's what the name of the book is, but I think he was mentioned. Theater X was what he was, and then he went over to Europe, and then I think from other interviews that I've heard with Willem Dafoe, is that he put down in his audition one time that he could drive a motorbike, so that he'd get the audition, and he wrecked it. But I don't know what the movie was called. I remember that it was one of his early works. Why am I saying Rumblefish? I don't know. I'd have to go and look. I know Matt Dillon was Rumblefish. I'm trying to think what his early work. I'll have to look at it. He did some kind of motorcycle thing where he was riding a motorcycle. He showed up at set. He was like, "Yeah, I know how to ride a motorcycle," and then he turned out he didn't know how to, and kind of wrecked the bike a little bit. But he learned it eventually, and he was able to get what he needed to get done. You know, I'm gonna listen to the interview, so there's always stuff to learn. We'll be passing the lake pretty soon. So I made it finally through the storm to pick up Linda, and we're still getting kind of like this airy kind of storm, kind of lots of wind blowing and everything. All right,
Just missed it right there. Lightning went off right there. Oh, goodness. What the hell is this? Is it a crab? Some kind of alien space thing or something from outer space. Okay, yeah, I understand. Let's go, come on this way. Sometimes we gotta get their attention. Yeah, they got Taco Bell. But anyway, it looked like some kind of, I don't know, a crab or something that bit it right there. Of course. There's Kitty. There's Linda.
Hi.
Good night.